Time to focus on the Falcons and move on from a sloppy game against the Patriots. Kind of. Welcome to the Buffalo End Zone podcast, everyone. Kevin Carroll, Andy Young with you. Andy, we're still going to have to address some of the ugly from the Patriots game as the Bills get ready for the Falcons game because there's so much that needs to be fixed. Start on offense.
What do you have in mind?
I mean, we could start with penalties. We could start with turnovers. We can also start, Andy, with Josh Allen's pass catchers and the wide receivers, and something that I don't think many knew off the top on game night is the situation with Keon Coleman being sat for the beginning of the game, and the Bills are moving on from that now. But, you know, the second-year player seems like he did all the right things and all the right moves during the offseason leading up to the regular season, and now gets in trouble for something he would not really address.
Yeah, Keon Coleman sat out the first series, disciplinary issue from the week last week leading into the game. Sean McDermott, Keon Coleman would not disclose exactly what that issue was, but this isn't the first time this has happened with Keon Coleman. He dealt with an issue last season of being late to a meeting, something along those lines. So this isn't the first time that he has shown signs of immaturity. And obviously you need everybody on the same page. You need everybody to be on board with being on time, being available, whatever it might be, whatever the issue was. I don't claim to know. But Coleman, for his part, said, look, it's growing pains. It's not something that I'm proud of. It's something that I don't like the way it looks. It makes me look like I don't care, and that's not the case, and it's something I need to grow from. So obviously he needs to improve in that area, and they need him to improve on the field too because they're relying on him. And, yeah, he came through with a touchdown catch in that game, but also had a fumble that was very costly in a game where they uncharacteristically turned the ball over 3 times and only got one back themselves. So for that wide receiver group as a whole, Keon Coleman has to be an improved product, and the entire group really does because outside of Shakir, and we'll loop in Dalton Kincaid into that group because he's a primary pass catcher who had a nice game. It's been a struggle to find consistency for those guys. Sometimes you'll see a play for Curtis Samuel. Sometimes you'll see a play for Elijah Moore. Joshua Palmer goes massive stretches where he's invisible, whether that's because of the calls, whether that's because of him not getting open, or any of these guys. I don't understand exactly what the issue is here. And some of it has to do with the way the Bills run their offense. They've got to do a better job pushing the ball down the field, getting guys open, whatever that might be. And if they don't have the horses to do that, Brandon Beane better get on the phone.
Yeah, and we've talked about that with the trade deadline coming up. Andy, the top 50 pass catchers in the NFL, Keon Coleman is 49, Khalil Shakir is 46 in the league right now. And then there's no other Bill on the list at this point. And, oh, no, Dalton Kincaid is up at 26. I always miss Dalton Kincaid.
I mean, Kincaid is having an incredible season.
Right.
I think he's like number 1 or number 2 among tight ends in yards per route run. It's just the fact that they're not throwing the ball to him enough.
Yeah.
And they need to get him more involved in the offense. And there's this tendency with the Bills who want to run the ball, who want to get the ball to James Cook. I mean, you've got some playmakers on this team. Get the ball in their hands more often somehow and get them in space and get them where they can run.
Andy, 2 weeks ago, Kincaid only had 1 catch, and it was for a touchdown.
Right.
And then the game against the Patriots, he's in rhythm with Josh Allen, but the whole offense was such a mess. They could not operate how they really wanted to because either they lost the ball or they were going backwards with penalties.
That part's what really is the killer because when you're turning the football over like that and when you're killing your own drives with penalties, you can't get these guys into a rhythm and you can't open up the offense more because you're just struggling to stay afloat at that point, right, and keep yourself in the game. Running game wasn't working as well. James Cook held in check more than really he had been at all throughout the season.
Absolutely.
And so that all leads to the stagnation on offense that we saw throughout the course of that game. And when you've got the MVP, sometimes you got to let it rip. You've got to do more, and I know that they don't want to turn the football over. I know that Josh had an MVP season when they focused more on the run game, freed him up to not have to say, I need to get Stephon Diggs 10 targets a game. But at the end of the day, how is this offense evolving? How are they still able to put up 30-plus points a game? Sometimes it feels like smoke and mirrors. And last year, we said this often. All right, you scored 30, but it seemed like such a struggle.
Yep.
And it's the NFL, so results matter at the end of the day, however you get there. But there's got to be better ways or easier ways, more efficient ways to make it happen.
And it just seems that this offense, if the running game isn't running how it wants to, then the whole thing kind of falls apart. I'm sorry, but if you want to get, fancy and tricky early in the game, I didn't like it. The handoff to Knox turns into a fumble. The flea flicker ends up being a check down. And to me, all that threw off the rhythm of what they normally do on offense early in games to just march the ball down the field. Give the Patriots credit. They have the best run defense, or one of them, in the league, and that probably played a role. And that might end up being an issue down the line if it comes down to Bills-Patriots for the AFC East with how both teams' schedules are playing out.
I will defend Joe Brady a little bit here. He said that play to Dawson Knox is not like it's a trick play for them. It's just like if they gave a jet sweep to Curtis Samuel or Elijah Moore. Now, obviously, he fumbled the ball, but he also said if he doesn't fumble, it's going to be a nice gain for him.
I don't buy that.
To me, those end arounds aren't really trick plays.
But your tight end, I can't think off the top of my head where I've ever seen that. Maybe Travis Kelce.
We'll agree to disagree on that. And then also the flea flicker. How often do we say, you got to get creative, Bills? You're so vanilla.
Now, I do agree.
That wasn't a negative play. They picked up a first down on the play.
I do agree with what Joe Brady said on that play, was that you want a big play coming off a turnover. So I'm not really that annoyed with the flea flicker. It's.
You know who was annoyed that he was asked about the offense being too cute?
Joe Brady.
After his own coach said it. Our buddy Jay Skursky at the Buffalo News asked the question, and he said, do you feel like your offense was too cute? And Brady said, define cute. And Jay had a great retort. He said, well, you'd have to ask your head coach. He's the one who said it.
I did like
touche
that
to Jay.
Yeah.
Nicely done, buddy.
I did like that exchange. But so the Bills, they're still the third best offense in the NFL right now, even with all the struggles we bring up. But they are going up against a defense that, for whatever it is with the Atlanta Falcons sitting at 2-2, their defenses look pretty good, both defending the pass and defending the run.
Yeah, they've got some players. They've done some work to bulk up their defensive line. They've got old friend Leonard Floyd, edge rusher, now with the Falcons. A couple of young guys, James Pierce and Jalen Walker, who look like they're pretty stout at getting after the quarterback. So, to me, it's an improved Falcons defense, but I don't think it's one that is one of the best units in the league. I think the Bills should, if they're doing the things that they're supposed to do, taking care of their own business, should have some success moving the football in this game.
Passing average, allowing 135 yards a game, rushing 109.
135 yards a game is it? Wow. That seems
244
really
yards per game is what that defense is averaging.
Well, that's pretty good.
And I get the stats off of the ESPN stat page here. So that seems to be, but you got to look at the competition that Atlanta's gone up against so far and all that stuff. But it does seem like this could be another concern for how this Bills offense is going to operate. Going on the road down in Atlanta and taking on a Falcons team that's 500 that has looked really bad at times.
I mean, they're giving up the fewest yards in the league, so there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 600 yards total for the season. That's pretty good.
So that's what the Bills are going up against. Andy, Deion Dawkins limited during practice as we look at the O-line. There's always that talk about how this O-line is always pretty much healthy, but they have been dealing with injuries this season. I watched Dion practicing. He was limited, but
Looked okay.
he looked okay.
I saw your video. He looked fine.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
Why was Dalton Kincaid in a red jersey? That was the thing that
So,
kind of took me by surprise.
I believe it was an oblique that came up. And there were a few injuries that McDermott didn't mention prior to practice that we saw once we got out there. So, that's interesting to see Kincaid in a non-contact jersey for a guy who has been one of your best players offensively this season. You worry a little bit about that. An oblique for Kincaid, a thumb for Dawkins. That's not going to stop him. Damar Hamlin popped up with a pec. Milano did not practice.
Yep.
We'll probably get into that. You're really starting to see, I don't know if you can rely on him too much anymore. Ed Oliver, limited. Again.
But when's he coming back?
Right.
Like, every week it's like, oh, he's limited. It looks like he'll be. And again, you were over there. I was over there watching the defensive line where they told everyone to stop filming, which they do every week now. They cut people off when it looks like it's just individual drills. But
Apparently
whatever.
it's game plan specific is what we've been told.
Okay. I don't know.
They need Ed Oliver.
Yeah.
They need him to get back out on the field. He is their best interior defensive lineman. We saw what he can do when he's playing at his high level against Baltimore. He single-handedly almost got them back into that game.
Yep.
Defensively.
So they need him back. So we'll get into more with Ed Oliver and the defensive line and Matt Milano and whatnot and what this Atlanta Falcons offense brings to the table after a quick break. Welcome back, everybody. We were talking before the break about Ed Oliver, mentioned Matt Milano, probably going to miss another game here as the injury still exists there on the defensive side of the ball for the Bills. And going up against a Falcons team, 7th in total yards now on offense, Andy. Bijan Robinson, obviously key. Michael Penix Jr., the younger quarterback that this Bills defense is going up against. But you look at Bijan Robinson, he is going to be another handful that a Bills defense that has issues at times. They were a lot better against the Patriots at getting off the field when they needed to, but just didn't when they really needed to towards the end of the game. But
he's a guy that they are going to have to key on because he is so good. Bijan Robinson is one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's leading them in rushing and receiving. So not only is this a guy who can beat you with power, with speed, running the football, making guys miss. He's one of those guys that can make a cut in a phone booth and then, boom, he's gone. But he also does it in the passing game too.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just a really tough matchup, especially when we've looked at difficulties stopping the run in the past for the Bills. And then also, who knows what you're getting from your linebackers and your safeties to cover a guy like Bijan Robinson.
That's where you need someone like Ed Oliver back. You need that body back. And again, Andy, we're one game away from the suspended guys coming back into the fold as well.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup with what they present with Bijan Robinson. Drake London, really nice wide receiver.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts is hit or miss. He's not lived up to the hype.
Like, that's what I was – they're going to have to deal with Kyle Pitts. I remember Kyle Pitts coming in. It's like, this guy's going to be a handful. But I don't think that ever became that big of a thing going up against them.
Now, here's the deal, though. I think what helps them a little bit is Michael Penix Jr., while operating this offense efficiently, is not a world beater. And he's not a guy who gets out of the pocket a ton. You're not as fearful of him using his legs.
That's a good thing.
As you have been against most of the quarterbacks they've played so far this season. I don't think you're worried about him just shredding you, whether with his legs or with his arm. I think he only has 3 touchdown passes on the season and 3 picks. So he is not lighting the world on fire. He's fine. He's accurate. He's smart. Sean McDermott said he's operating their offense and what they want to do at a very high level. To me, that says more of like game manager type stuff. But if he's quickly and accurately getting the ball in the hands of Bijan Robinson and Drake London, that's trouble for the Bills, who have had a lot of problems tackling. That's been one of the basic issues that has really haunted them this season. Is just their tackling. Sometimes they're in the right place and they can't make the tackle and wrap up, or other times they take bad angles.
Yeah.
And they're coming at a guy from the side instead of tackling him head on, or you're not in the right place to make that play. So, I mean, the defense obviously has got its issues. And here we are, like, lambasting this team that's 4-1. And here last week at this time we were talking about them being the final undefeated team and all these sorts of things. They were the final undefeated team for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
After Philly lost. So I don't want to say this is all doom and gloom, like, oh my God, the Bills stink. But there's issues that they need to clean up. Luckily for them, they have a program in place. They have a quarterback, and they have a lot of players in place who can cover up for a lot of that stuff. We just saw it kind of rear its ugly head against New England, things that had been percolating and building and festering.
And the loss
throughout the season.
And the loss really pushed it over the edge.
Sure.
You mentioned Matt Milano, Shaq Thompson getting a lot more run right now, and
Dorian Williams was limited in practice.
Dorian Williams limited, but he looked decent as well. So these guys are going to be relied on. What do you think about Shaq Thompson so far? I thought he was
Unk. They call him Unk.
Well, that's never good. That means he's old.
That's what they're joking about. Yeah. I actually, I think we talked about this before, but I asked Dorian Williams about Shaq Thompson's influence in the locker room a couple of weeks ago, and he laughed. He's great. He's a veteran. It's incredible what he's doing, but we call him Unk because he's the old man of the crew. I think he's like 31. He's not that old, but he's coming off a couple of devastating injuries.
Didn't he come out when Shaq Lawson came out? Weren't they the two Shaqs in the draft?
They were around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because surprise, Andy, I get them confused by name every now and then.
Yeah.
That might shock you there.
But, I mean, he's why you bring a guy in like that to be able to play multiple positions, to provide a veteran presence, to be able to just step in when needed at multiple different spots. And I think he's done a nice job at that. You've seen him make some big, ferocious hits.
Yeah.
And so I think he's playing well. I mean, the bigger concern here is Milano. Like, at what point do they just kind of wave the white flag with him? I think they already kind of did by restructuring his contract and making this the final year of his deal, because I just don't know that you can trust the guy to stay on the field anymore. It's unfortunate because when he's healthy, he's obviously he's an all-pro. He's really good.
And it's got to be frustrating for him, but I mean, I brought this up before, even last year. I thought maybe Dorian Williams should have stayed in the starting lineup ahead of him until I think that Broncos playoff game, Milano really impressed in that, and it was at that point where it was like, okay, lock that up. But still, Dorian Williams, Andy, I think has grown so much since he came out of Tulane. There were so many questions about him, but yeah, I think he's found a nice little spot here with the Bills.
You just worry with him consistency. He's got the athleticism. He's got pretty good size. But he's got to be consistent in terms of being in the right place for pass coverage, dropping into zones, reading his keys in the run game. He's got some athleticism to cover those things up, but you get some of that with experience, right? And with more time on task. So hopefully for him and for the Bills, that continues to ascend, because to me, he would seem to be the heir apparent next season, or maybe even this season, with Milano probably on his way out. That's Dorian Williams' job to lose, right? In his third season out of 4 on a rookie deal as a former third-round pick.
We look at this game, and it's likely that the Bills are going to totally focus really on stopping the run in this one, but they've also had issues in the defensive backfield. I think even Christian Benford has had a few issues here and there, but Trey White on the opposite side.
They haven't been very good attacking the football and breaking up passes. So, for example, last week they had one pass breakup in the entire game. Do you want to know who that was?
Terrell Bernard.
No.
A.J. Epinesa.
You knew it was A.J. Epinesa because we talked about it previously. That's not good enough. That means that you're playing off. You're not able to attack when someone throws the ball your way, or you're just letting them get way too open that you can't get there.
Yeah.
And so, like, for a guy like Trey White, he's probably playing off because he just doesn't have that closing speed and athleticism like he used to. Well, the problem there is you're just going to allow a million completions, and you're not really challenging guys because you don't want to get beat deep. I think Benford absolutely has to step up the ball hawking a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When guys throw his way, he's got to get there. He's got to break up the passes. That's going to be really important.
And again, Maxwell Hairston not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hear McDermott when asked about Hairston, and it just sounds to me that there's not great news behind the scenes.
I think that McDermott is being very cautious with his words as to not pin himself into a corner.
Right.
With whatever's happening with Maxwell Hairston. Again, Thursday this week as we record this podcast, out on the field, doing some more drills. We saw him doing some backpedaling and some cutting. That's a good sign. Still got the brace on the knee, though.
Yeah.
With that LCL sprain. McDermott was asked, is there still thought that both Hairston and Tyler Bass would play this season? And McDermott, I think this is what you're referring to. McDermott said, we'll see. I'm just going by what the medical is, but they're moving in the right direction. Now, that doesn't necessarily bring a whole lot of optimism about the return. The 21-day practice window for those two guys, as well as Tylen Grable, who's been in the concussion protocol for a long time, that's not good either.
Right.
Is still not open yet, so the practice window for them to have the 3-week ramp up and then decide, all right, we're going to activate you or you're done for the season, that's not open yet.
Yeah.
So we're looking at quite some time before you see Maxwell Hairston back on the field. And then it's a question of, okay, so in a month, say they activate him after next week. So in 5 weeks or so, is he going to be ready? He has not played any meaningful football and has not really practiced since the first week of training camp.
Right.
For a rookie. It's not like this is a vet who knows everything and is wily and knows the system and the ins and outs of playing in the NFL. So then that becomes, do the Bills need to upgrade the cornerback position through a trade, similar to what they did with Rasul Douglas a couple of years ago when Trey went down the second time?
I think that's in the cards around the bye week. Andy, Bills behind the Indianapolis Colts at number 2. We're going to take a look at how the AFC is playing out right now. Again, it's early in the season. We'll see if things change.
They will.
That coming up
Spoiler.
After a quick break. Welcome back, everyone. Andy, I think maybe I saw it on a tweet from you at first that, when you look at the playoff picture and the standings in the AFC right now, it's hard to believe the Chiefs and the Ravens.
And the Bengals.
And the Bengals dealing with an injury to Joe Burrow.
Well, the Chiefs are now, too, with Lamar. Or the
Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah, I forgot about Lamar,
Yeah.
too. So you have the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Ravens, really out of it with just one win. Very odd. Do you see a scenario where one of those 3 teams ends up improving, getting into the mix? Do you see them falling off?
Kansas City. They're going to find their way in.
Yeah.
They're going to find their way into the playoffs. the offense is looking much better than it has in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have a whole lot of 99-yard interception returns for touchdowns, pick sixes against Patrick Mahomes, which is what helped the Jaguars beat the Chiefs.
That was such a fun play.
That whole game, the end of that game was amazing.
Yeah.
So I would expect Kansas City to get themselves back into it. Will they win the West? I don't know. It's certainly possible. The Chargers, the luster's off them a little bit. They've lost a couple now. Denver's lost a couple. The Chiefs are only one game behind those two teams.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world there.
You see the Steelers in the mix, Jags, Chargers,
Yeah.
Broncos. Patriots now have suddenly become a team to be concerned about.
Well, their schedule is absurdly easy.
Yeah.
Absurdly easy.
I mean, it's pretty close to the Bills, but easier than the Bills.
But the Bills get those first-place games where the Patriots are not. Their schedule the rest of the way is so cupcake that I can see them winning 12 games, the Patriots.
And that's where we say the AFCs might not be such a lock at this point.
Right. I mean, so to me, the Bills still need to get to 13, 14 wins, which is what we've said all along. And if you want the 1 seed,
I think the Bills get the Eagles, the Patriots get the Giants.
Right.
So what does that say? So who do you think out of this list, if you think the Chiefs get back in, who ends up out?
Of the 7 that are in?
Yeah.
So Indy's leading. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Chargers, Jacksonville, Denver, New England.
I can see Jacksonville falling apart.
Which they've often done.
Yeah, as fun as that win was, I could see it happening.
I don't see Pittsburgh falling off as much as I don't think they're good ever. I think they're going to be okay just because of the mess Baltimore's in right now. They're going to have a hard time climbing out of that hole.
Yeah.
Being down 3 games to the Steelers to win that division. So to me it's like, do the Chargers fall apart? That's possible. They're beat up. Hampton's hurt. Both their tackles are hurt. That's hard to overcome.
And Andy, we'll get into the Bengals in just a little bit, but right now we're going to take a break, take a look at your tailgating weather coming up for Monday Night Football.
Are you going to Hot Atlanta? Because I am.
Whoa. We'll be right back, everyone.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Gilson with your Buffalo Bills game day forecast for Monday Night Football. Here in Buffalo, we could have some showers to dodge if you're heading out to watch the game across western New York. But down in Atlanta, before the game, if you're making the journey down there and tailgating in the afternoon, it's going to be a nice one. Temperatures into the 80s, staying warm through the evening, with temperatures only dropping down into the 70s for Monday Night Football there in Atlanta.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Tailgating down in Atlanta. Andy, I've never been there. What's the situation?
I have not been to a Falcons game.
Oh, that's right.
Nor have I been to the new stadium.
That's right. That was a while ago when the Bills were down there, had that big win.
Yeah, so I was not on the road covering, so I'm excited for it. I love Atlanta. My sister used to live down in Atlanta. It's a cool city. Can't wait to see that. Obviously, the weather's usually decent.
Yeah, and the stadium, of course, has that retractable roof. I'm assuming with the game at night, they're going to close it one way or the other. I don't know that for a fact, Andy, but it seems like there were games there where it was nice out, but since the game was at night, that the Falcons have always elected to close it, but I can't be 100% sure on that.
I would expect it to be closed. They want it to be loud. Right. Road team against the Super Bowl favorite night. I'm guessing it'll be closed.
Let's go to BetMGM. Bills -4.5, Andy. With the way the Bills have been playing, I'm kind of fine with that.
That's reasonable.
It could be even lower, I would think.
Yeah. I would even say 3 would be reasonable, but that's me.
How about we do the over-under at 50?
Yeah.
Which, really?
Yeah. I think they bounce back. I think Atlanta's going to be able to score.
And the offense is going to have to score a
Right.
ton.
So, if you get back to your 30 points-ish
Mm-hmm.
and you give up 20 or 24, we're hitting over 50.
All right, let's do it then. Final score, what do you think? I like what you just said. I'm going to go like 35-24, the final.
I'm going to
Bills
say,
on top.
I'll say 31-24.
Before we hit another break, is there anything the Bills can take from their last meeting with the Falcons? That was a few years back.
No.
That was here in Buffalo. I think Matt Ryan was still the quarterback.
No.
It was snowing out. This is like a completely different
Yeah.
ball of wax
Yeah.
that they're going up
Different
against.
players, different coaches, quarterbacks for the Falcons. So, to me, that's a moot point.
I love it. Moot. My question is moot. Let's take another quick break, Andy. We'll get into other stuff around the NFL. I mentioned the Bengals. They have a new quarterback now. We're going to get into that. And another former Browns quarterback as well. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're talking Bengals. We were talking earlier about their chances of actually getting in to the postseason with where they stand right now. And Andy, a new quarterback coming down in Joe Flacco, who was benched by the Browns. We talked about that on the podcast either last week or a few weeks ago, and has now found a new home where they're hoping that Joe Flacco, who ends up on a new team, brings the heat a little bit more, because the Bengals are just stuck in neutral with Browning.
It's kind of dire straits for the Bengals right now. They're just holding on for dear life until Joe Burrow gets back, if at all, late in the season. If they can be somewhere around 500 and make a run late in the season to get into the playoffs, that's all they're hoping for right now. But Joe Flacco, to me, is not the answer. The Browns were stuck in the mud offensively with Flacco at the helm, to the point where you bring in an unheralded rookie in Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, still biding his time.
I know.
So to me, they're like, well, Jake Browning's not the answer. We got to do something. And maybe, like you said, Flacco can find some magic for the next 6 or 8 weeks and keep them somewhere in the hunt.
He's done it before in his career, but I think you can only go to the well so often as you start to get up there in age, unfortunately, where what Flacco's done in the past doesn't mean, past results does not guarantee future outcomes.
So he's walking. Oh, yeah. Put that up on the board, guys. Did you come up with that yourself?
Just thought of it right here.
Flacco's walking into a situation where he has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, awesome weapons. Great. You better get the ball out of your hands quick, because that Bengals offensive line is putrid. And if it struggles to protect Joe Burrow, how's 80-year-old Joe Flacco going to do with it? So he better be 3-step drop out. Let's get the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and let them go to work.
Yeah. Another quarterback that's moved around a lot. For some reason, I kept seeing things about Baker Mayfield and how the Browns look so silly right now for moving on from him.
That was stupid.
So fast. Mayfield, what did he go to Carolina, and then he went out to one of the L.A. teams.
Went to the
and,
Rams. Yeah.
Saved his bacon, ends up down in Tampa. And, Andy, I'm hearing some national people talk about league MVP when it comes to Baker Mayfield.
Why not? I mean, he has played really well. That is a good team. They're 4-1. He's playing good football, and he did it for him last season too.
And they're coming to Buffalo. So when you talk about, the difference between the Patriots and the Bills schedule, the Bills have to deal with the defending Super Bowl champs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the hot hand.
Hey, that 2018 draft class looking pretty good right now. Sam
After
Darnold.
they looked so bad, except for Allen initially.
Well, and Lamar.
Oh, yeah. But
Lamar won 2 MVPs pretty quick.
I forget about Lamar.
Yeah.
I hate the Ravens so much. I just don't ever think about them.
Yeah, one of the best quarterbacks statistically we've ever seen.
All right, I was wrong.
I know. But what I'm saying is the resurgence of Baker Mayfield and even to a degree Sam Darnold last season with the Vikings, and he's playing pretty well this season. I think he leads the league in EPA per play with the Seahawks now. So that top of that class, minus old Josh Rosen, who
poor Josh Rosen.
We all thought the Bills should draft over Josh Allen.
That was the Josh I wanted. I remember it.
You got us, Brandon Bean. You got us on that one. Willing to admit it.
That Buccaneers-Seahawks game was amazing last Sunday. The game was amazing. The uniforms, Andy, were also amazing.
The old throwbacks.
Both teams, which we're going to get down in Atlanta, too.
Yeah.
With the Bills going to their old AFL uniforms and the Falcons going back.
The red helmets.
And the black jerseys.
I love it.
Which I got to admit, as a dork who grew up in the 80s, I'm really excited for the look of the Falcons Bills.
You should have never left the 80s.
Who said I did?
I don't think you did.
Wait till you hear what I'm watching on TV now.
You like the 90s, too.
80s, 90s, whatever. 90s kind of got away. But the Bills now, Andy, part of a doubleheader with a 7:15 start. There's a game after the Bills. I love the Monday Night Football doubleheader. I think they should just go to it moving forward every week.
But it's got to be like a 10 o'clock game. I don't like when it's like 7 and then one starts at 8.
Right. My dad would not stop complaining about that. What do you do if both games are really good? You watch the one you want to watch more.
And the thing with this world now is you're not stuck to that. You don't have to get up to turn the dial.
That's true.
And you only have 3 stations.
You got your phone. You got your picture-in-picture.
A lot of people have phones. Watch it on your iPad, your laptop. Put 2 screens up. Switch back and forth, whatever. So I don't know. Like I said last week, I feel like the night games are standalones. So I don't want more than one going on. I don't know why. But I do like more than one game.
I like that on
Monday
Night Football.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Especially
put a West Coast game on at 10 every week. That's
absolutely.
Fine. Yeah.
And you know what? People will stay up for it at this point, no matter what.
You can't get enough of bad football.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, come back, and start to wrap up the show. All right, welcome back, everyone. A little 3 and out before we head out. 3 topics, not necessarily football related. We'll get to, Andy. The first one I wanted to start off with because we had talked about getting back into baseball when both our teams were in the playoffs.
They are no longer.
And I am slowly fading away. How about you?
I actually am interested because I would love to see the Blue Jays win the World Series.
I was going to get into that. The Blue Jays, of course, they played in Buffalo for a while. I don't like watching games at their stadium up in Toronto. That's the only problem why I probably don't watch more.
Not a fan of the old Sky Dome?
No, not at all.
Yeah. It's very sterile.
Very happy that they knocked the Yankees out.
Yes.
I know a ton of Bills fans are also Yankees fans, but...
You want to know who's a huge Bills fan?
Aaron Judge.
No. Blue Jays second baseman Ernie Clement. The pride of Brighton, suburban Rochester.
Having a heck of a postseason.
Yeah, so good for him. A lot of cool angles with this. Like you mentioned, they played in Buffalo for those 2 seasons during COVID. Ton of the minor league guys, even like Vlad Guerrero Jr., played for the Bisons, right? Like, and moved their way up with that system. So that's really cool.
I have a Bo Bichette Buffalo Blue Jays white home jersey that I will never wear. I just thought it looked cool.
There's a Bo Bichette bobblehead out on my desk, which I didn't get. I think our old friend Rachel Hotmeyer got that one.
I mean, who didn't love when his dad was playing and Chris Berman would say, Bichette happens? Who didn't love that?
Remember those Rockies teams that just would crush the ball? They were amazing.
Yeah. Well, they're up in the...
Andre Scalaraga, Larry Walker.
They're up in the mountains. Andy, the NHL season is now underway. Buffalo Sabres 14 years without a playoff appearance, an NHL record. Their season is getting underway.
Longest streak in North American pro sports currently.
Yep. Is this the year, Andy? They haven't even, as we record this, they haven't even taken the ice yet. It's got to be.
I don't know.
The law of averages says it's got to be, right?
It's like me predicting the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Until they beat the Chiefs, I can't do it.
That's true.
Until the Sabres get to that place, I don't know what to expect. There were some changes. Josh Norris comes in. They revamp the defense a little bit. The goaltender situation is still murky with injuries and they got like 8 goalies, right?
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and say, yeah, I think this is the year. But if it's not, sad to say, I think that's the end of Mr. Kevin Adams.
I would think
tenure.
so. I'm just happy hockey's
They've
back.
got to do it.
I love hockey. Finally, as we do before we go, what you watching, Andy? I got to give a shout out to whoever started Tubi, the Tubi app, with all these old time shows on it. You know, I did Columbo.
Yeah.
My wife and I did Columbo. We did Heart to Heart. We got back into recently. Which is fun. You watch some of these old shows and you see some of these actors like our buddy who plays Shooter McGavin.
Chris McDonald.
Was in an episode of Hunter we were watching the other day as a young kid. But I went back. I thought it was Hunter, but it was a show called Spencer for Hire, which I remember being in high school and the rumblings going on that they were filming part of Spencer for Hire in our downtown little area. And so they filmed a few episodes there, like parts of episodes. So I'm diving into that. I'm going to show the wife, look, there's my old hometown back in the 80s. Like, you want me to stay in the 80s? I am.
Well, I guess I'm stuck in the 90s because I've been rewatching The Sopranos again. And that's almost 30 years old now, the first season of The Sopranos.
That's incredible.
That's insane. It's crazy. But, yeah, I say this every week. I don't know what it is. I cannot get myself consistently into new shows. I don't know why.
I did watch the first episode of the new Matlock at the request of one Matt Moses, who helps us out with the podcast.
Yeah.
I have yet to discuss my thoughts with him, but
let's not discuss it on this podcast.
No. Yeah, I'll discuss it with Matt.
Okay.
Also, when you say it's hard to believe it's been almost 20 years since that Sabres team became awesome, going back to the Sabres.
Yeah, the
With
05-06 team came out of the lockout with a bunch of small, fast guys and lit the world on fire.
Briere, Drury, Pominville all of a sudden showed up. It would be a nice 20th anniversary if that kind of fire showed back up with your Buffalo Sabres.
I'm interested. They've got players. It's just, can they consistently put anything together and avoid month-long losing streaks?
Right. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Andy and I are going to wrap it up. We'll be back with you following the Monday night game against the Falcons with the Buffalo End Zone post-game show on the television side.
Stevie Johnson with us there.
Stevie always he kind of joins us. There are some days where there are issues.
Where in the world is number 13?
And then Andy and I with another Buffalo End Zone post-game podcast coming your way. That coming up early on Tuesday morning next week.
Comment, subscribe, give us the action.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.